I am a relationship coach, but I cannot even choose the right person in a relationship. We really need to talk about something serious today because Winter just called out Carlos King, and it is not looking good for him at all. If you watch reality TV, then you already know Carlos is a big name behind the scenes. He makes shows that put Black women in the spotlight. But Winter says that is only what people see on the outside. Behind the scenes, things are very different, and it is not looking good. Winter recently talked about her experience and shared how Carlos not only allowed, but also supported toxic environments where Black women were disrespected and treated badly. She said that during filming, the men on her show were aggressive toward her, calling her all kinds of names. But instead of stopping them, a male producer started shouting, "Get her! Get her!" Just think about it, a grown man with power telling other men to attack a woman with words on set. And this is not only about Winter. This has happened before too. Monique Samuels also shared her own story and said Carlos treated her worse than the white people in the industry. That is a very strong thing to say. She trusted him to support her, but in the end, she felt hurt and betrayed. Winter is not only talking about herself. She is showing a pattern. Black women are used for entertainment, but when they need support, no one is there for them. This is not just some small drama. This is about truth and responsibility. Carlos built his whole brand around Black women, but the real question is, are they truly valued, or are they just being used? Exploited for ratings, let's get into it because Winter just blew the lid off this whole thing. I'm sure she may feel the same. I don't want to speak for her, but for me, when you've had such a negative experience I lost so much because of this. So now that I have decided to move forward, filed for divorce, and the divorce is final, I do not want any connection to my past. Everything I have worked for and achieved is now linked to the name I have today. This is not the first time people have talked about Carlos and how he treats Black women in the industry. But what Winter shared makes it even more serious. Carlos King has built his whole career on reality TV drama, but the real question is, at what cost? At what cost? Over the years, many women have spoken out with stories that show a very troubling pattern in the way Carlos works. Monique Samuels, who became a big star on The Real Housewives of Potomac, has been very clear about her experience with Carlos on Love and Marriage, DC. She said she believed the show would focus on strong Black families and their real-life struggles. But instead, she says Carlos turned it into a toxic and drama-filled space that left her feeling tired and disrespected. She did not hold back at all. Monique Samuels said Carlos treated her worse than the white people in the industry, and that means a lot. Then there is Kandi Burruss. You all remember the drama between her and Carlos, right? Kandi said Carlos took her family's life story and sold it to another network without asking her. She said she had no idea until she found out that Queens of R&B, which was about Xscape and SWV, was being made without anyone even talking to her. And for Kandi, this was not only about business, it was about trust. She felt betrayed. She has been in this industry for a very long time, and she understands how things work. Kandi has been in this industry for a very long time, and for her to say she cannot even be in the same room as Carlos anymore, that means a lot. What we are seeing here is a clear pattern. Carlos makes shows that focus on Black women, but instead of truly lifting them up, he pushes drama, changes real stories, and turns their struggles into nothing more than entertainment. Let us be honest, reality TV will always have drama. But there is a big difference between showing real moments and creating messy situations just to keep the ratings high. And that is the real problem here. The drama, it's the way these women feel discarded once the cameras stop rolling. But let's get into the really, because Winter did not hold back when she exposed what went down behind the scenes. So would it be? Carlos King set you up in a way that made people doubt you, question your skills, and take away your credibility. Because, like you said, if you are a relationship coach, then why can you not even choose the right man for yourself? That is something that would make the audience question you, right? Absolutely. Winter's claims are very serious. She is not only saying the show had drama, she is saying it was toxic. And not just because of the usual reality TV problems, but because of something much deeper. Winter said Carlos and his team did not just allow the aggressive behavior toward her, they actually encouraged it. She talked about a moment when several men on set were verbally attacking her, and instead of stopping them, a male producer was shouting, "Get her! Get her!" Think about that for a moment. A producer, someone who was supposed to be in charge, was not trying to calm things down. Instead, he was pushing a group of men to go after one woman. And Carlos? He did nothing. Winter also said that during filming, she was not given the same support as the other cast members. Winter said the production team did not just create drama, they set things up in a way that put her in danger, whether emotionally or mentally. And when she tried to speak up about it, they completely ignored her. This was not only about making the show exciting, it was about control. Winter said Carlos and his team wanted her to be the one getting attacked because it made good television. And this is the real problem. Reality TV should show real moments, but never at the cost of someone's well-being. If Black women are going to be the focus of these shows, then they should be protected, not just used for entertainment. They should be protected, respected, and valued. But from what Winter is saying, Carlos does not care about that. He only cares about making a show, no matter how much it hurts the women involved. Winter said she first came to the show under a different name, but after her divorce was final, she asked for her name to be changed back to Winter Harris. For her, this was about taking back her identity and moving forward on her own terms. Your name matters. It is a part of who you are. And for Winter, changing her name was very important because it was a clear break from her past and a step toward who she is now. If this was only one person speaking out, some people might try to ignore it. But let us be real, this is a pattern. Winter is not the first woman to call out Carlos for how he runs things, and at this point, there are too many Black women sharing similar stories for it to be ignored. We already talked about Monique Samuels and Candy Burris, but they are not the only ones. They are not the only ones. Other women who have worked with Carlos, both on screen and behind the scenes, have also spoken about the same problems: manipulation, favoritism, and a toxic work environment where women are not protected. Even fans of Love and Marriage, Huntsville have noticed how Black women are treated on Carlos's shows. Look at Melody Holt, one of the biggest stars on the show. She has been through so much, from constantly being attacked by her ex-husband, Martell Holt, to dealing with toxic relationships within the cast. Viewers have pointed this out many times. Fans have called out the show many times for how it treats its female leads. And guess what? Carlos has been accused of taking the men's side again and again. People have noticed that he rarely holds men accountable for their actions. Instead, he changes the story to make women look like the problem. Then there is Destiny Payton, another cast member from Love and Marriage, Huntsville. She left the show in a very messy way. While she has not openly spoken against Carlos, the way her exit was handled made many fans question what really happened. It almost seems like this is a pattern that keeps repeating. Carlos creates these situations where Black women are always in conflict, and once they are no longer needed for the storyline, they are pushed aside. And let us not forget about Phaedra Parks. Carlos and Phaedra were close for a while, but even she had to distance herself from him after he got caught up in that scandal with Candy. If you remember, Carlos was accused of working behind the scenes to spread that terrible rumor about Candy. In the end, it led to Phaedra getting fired from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So when Carlos presents himself as someone who supports Black women, people have every reason to question if that is really true. Carlos calls himself a champion for Black women, but the facts do not match his words. He always talks about giving Black women a platform, but the way these women describe their experiences tells a completely different story. So now the real question is, what does this mean for Carlos King? Because people are talking, and it is not looking good for him. The backlash is already getting stronger, and if Carlos does not handle this the right way, it could seriously hurt his career. Networks do not like bad publicity, and if more women keep coming forward with their stories, this could turn into a huge problem for him. If more women keep speaking up about mistreatment, production companies might start stepping away from Carlos. Reality TV is all about business, and if advertisers or executives see him as a problem, they will not think twice before cutting ties. Fans are already asking for answers. Social media is full of people calling for networks like OWN to take action and speak up about how Black women are treated on Carlos's shows. One person even wrote, "Carlos King has been getting away with this for too long. The way he treats Black women on his shows is disgusting. People are tired of it and want Carlos to take responsibility." One person said, "This is why I stopped watching his shows. It is always the same thing, Black women being used for drama while the men do whatever they want with no consequences." A lot of people think reality stars make a lot of money, but that is not always true. The truth is, they do not get the kind of money that Bravo stars do. While exact amounts cannot be shared because of contracts, it has been made clear that cast members were not even making more than $2,500 per episode. In the end, the real question is, how much longer will people let Carlos King continue doing this? Let us be real, this is not just about reality TV drama. This keeps happening again and again, and the ones hurt the most are Black women. Carlos has made his whole career using their stories, but in the end, these women leave feeling used, tricked, and disrespected. Winter is not just talking to get attention, she is calling out something serious. Her experience shows how the industry treats Black women, especially in reality TV. And when you look at her story along with everything else that has come out, it is clear that this cannot be ignored anymore. When you look at all the women who have spoken out, it is clear there is a real problem. Carlos understands the power of storytelling because that is how he built his career. But when that storytelling hurts the same women he claims to support, that is a big issue. He calls himself a supporter of Black women, but again and again, they are put in toxic and harmful situations just to bring in more viewers. That is manipulation in the worst way. And the most upsetting part? He almost never takes responsibility. Instead, he shifts the blame and refuses to be held accountable. He keeps acting like the victim, pretending he is just doing his job, and waiting for people to forget until the next big scandal comes up. That is exactly why these conversations matter. The more people speak up, the harder it will be for him to ignore everything and move on like nothing happened. So what happens now? Will Carlos finally face real consequences, or will this just be another controversy that people forget in a few weeks? The truth is, if he does not change the way he works, he could lose everything: his reputation,